Hey guys, so today I am quickly going to show you how to use the macro calculator on Ketology.net. Getting started in keto, one of the most important things is to know what your macros are. Macros are the grams of fat, protein, and net carbs you need to get every day in order to enter and maintain ketosis. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but first I just wanted to show you how to navigate to the macro calculator, and then we'll get into why macros are important and how to figure out what your macros are. So head on over to Ketology.net, and then you'll go to the menu to more, and the first item on the drop down is the macro calculator. So you'll click on that, and you'll be taken to the macro calculator page. So something that most folks who are getting into keto should know is that the general guidelines for the amounts of fat, protein, and net carbs you should be taking in per day are 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% net carbs. But that can change slightly based on your weight, activity level, etc. And that tells you the percentages, but it's good to know what that breaks down into actual grams because for each of those, because it's very important to specifically get your fat grams in to make sure you enter ketosis and get all the benefits of that. So the first thing is I'll show you how the calculator works, and then my recommendation is to use a tool, and there are many of them online to help you track your macros and make sure you're getting those grams in each day. My favorite one is MyFitnessPal. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. There's a web-based app, and there's a iPhone or mobile app as well, which is free. There are paid versions of it. I don't recommend getting the paid version because it's not necessary. If you like some bells and whistles and want more detail about your diet, then feel free by all means to pay for the upgrades, but really the base version will do. Again, there's tons of apps and tools to track your diet and what you're eating and what the grams are for each of your meals, so feel free to choose your own. But I like MyFitnessPal, and I've been using it for years and years, even before I went on keto. So I go through a few things here for those who want to read and not watch a video, but we'll scroll down to the actual calculator and get started. So units, by default, this defaults to the metric system. I will switch it to US because that's where I live and that's where most of our readers and viewers live. I will go through this for myself, just for the demonstration purposes. So you select your gender, age, I am 45, so that's perfect, that's already there. Weight, I'm happy to say that I am officially down 30 pounds on keto, so I'm going to enter that. Height, I am on the short side at 5'2". For activity level, this is personal preference. Most folks who have done tutorials on these keto calculators, who I respect and follow online, say regardless of your activity level to put in sedentary, and I found that that's pretty accurate. I work out moderately, I would say, so my instinct would be to put in moderately active on something like this, but the gurus who know a lot more than me say that unless you're an athlete or spend hours and hours on end in the gym each day, to put in sedentary, and that's worked pretty well for me. Again, I think I have a moderately active lifestyle. I work out every day, pretty hard, but sedentary works for me. So that's my recommendation, but of course feel free to put in what you feel is best. Body fat. So body fat percentage, I certainly didn't know my body fat percentage when I first started keto. I still really don't know exactly what my body fat percentage is. So if you want to be, super precise, you can invest in a skin fold caliper set. There's one right here that they're advertising from Amazon, or if you already have one. But I don't necessarily think that you need to have that. What I have linked up above are a couple of great resources to guesstimate your body fat percentage, which is sufficient for determining your macros. So one of them is the body fat calculator on active.com. If you have a tape measure at home, this will suffice perfectly. You'll just measure, you'll ask for some measurements on your weight, and then measurements on your waist, your hips, and I believe your arms. And then after you put that in, it gives you a good idea of what your body fat percentage is. If you don't have a tape measure or don't want to deal with that, ruled.me, which is a great keto resource that I use all the time, as well, has a visual guide. So it's got pictures of men and women at varying weights, so you can and you can take a look at the photos and kind of determine who looks most like you, and it'll tell you what body fat percentage they are. So you can head over there to one of those two resources, get your body fat percentage, and then come back and put that in. I'm going to guess that mine's probably around 25% based on using active.com's method of measurement. Again, I don't have skin calipers, but I think I'm probably around 25%. Net carbs. So typically they say when you're starting keto to do between 20 and 30 grams of net carbs. I currently usually will do about 16 grams of net carbs. For the purposes of this demonstration, again, I'm going to put in 25 grams, which is right midway between 20 and 30. Net carbs, for those of you who need a refresher or don't know, are your total carbohydrates per day minus the fiber. So if you're using a tool like MyFitnessPal or something like that to track everything you eat, it'll tell you what you have eaten in total carbohydrates and how much of that is fiber. You subtract the fiber from the total carbohydrates and you get net carbs. So I put that in, and then you'll get your results. So some people want to go into keto not necessarily to lose weight, but just for the health benefits, the cognitive benefits, overall well-being, etc. So you may not actually be looking to lose weight. So you want to maintain your weight, but again, benefit from everything else that keto does for your health and wellness. So if you were to do that, this will tell you how many calories you need to take in per day, and how that breaks down as far as protein and fat, because you've already put in what your target goal is for net carbs, which is 25 grams. And then you can set your goals if you aren't looking to maintain. So you can say you're looking to lose weight, gain weight, or you can set something custom. I'm going to put in weight loss because that's what most people do when they're initially starting keto. And then based on that, it will give you a small calorie deficit, a moderate calorie deficit, and a large calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is essentially how much you need to cut in calories in order to lose weight, because regardless of being on keto, you do need to cut calories in order to lose weight. So this is what that breaks down to. 9% cutting of calories is the small in this example, 18%, and then 27%. I never really recommend the large calorie deficit because it's way too low. 1,100 calories, per day is just not sustainable and not healthy. Usually somewhere between moderate and small is where I would say is best. I usually clock in around 1,400 calories a day. So that's, what I recommend. So at the the small calorie deficit, 1,400 calories, 117 grams of fat. Again, net carbs, we've already determined our baseline of 25 grams, and then 68 grams of protein and 117 grams of fat, which will put you in ketosis and help you lose weight. I have been maintaining probably about a 2 pound a week weight loss for the last few months using this method. So it certainly is a great way to determine what your macros are. And then again, the simple way to further track it is through a tool like MyFitnessPal or another app that you prefer, which will help you determine if you're hitting your goals each day and how you need to adjust before the end of the day to maintain ketosis. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. See you next time.